Morning, everyone. Go ahead and get started. So we'll start by settling the body, finding a comfortable, stable, upright position. So we keep our feet flat and our back straight, torso open, hands in the lap right over left, with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Try to avoid slouching or leaning. So try to release any unnecessary tension in the body, relaxing into the posture. Trying to keep an awareness during the session of the back, thinking of a column of light from the tailbone up to the top of the back of the head. Not wanting that light to bend or break. We have a sense of pulling away from the outside world, holding our awareness just to the body and mind. Letting whatever's happening around us be as it is without investigation. And letting go too of thoughts of the past and plans for the future. Beginning to use the physical sensation of the air passing into and back out of the tip of the nostrils to anchor our awareness in the present. Trying to notice quickly when anything other than that one physical sensation is rising in the mind. And without judgment or frustration, lifting our attention up from that distraction and placing it gently back on the breath again and again. and then generate a broad altruistic motivation, wanting to use your time to tap into your potential, develop your capacity to be of greater and greater benefit to sentient beings by spontaneously growing your ability to act from a place of genuine love, compassion, wisdom, ethics, creating new familiarities and habits that are beneficial and constructive, that necessarily oppose tendencies and habits that are not constructive and cause us to suffer when they arise and motivate actions of body, speech, and mind that can harm others. And then with that motivation, we'll contemplate today a brief overview of the three scopes of practice of sutra, three scopes of the Lam Rim, the way that the Buddha's sutra teachings have been organized for practitioners. So we can begin with the initial scope. You can think of the benefits of training in the initial scope, the purpose of which is to orient ourselves to thinking more about our overall spiritual trajectory than just the temporary sensory enjoyments of this life alone. So when we begin to orient ourselves in that direction, we think that this life is quite brief, and its end can come anytime. There's nothing that we can do to prevent the ending of this one life. At that time, the mind will continue. Body and mind are of separate continua. Mind will go on to another life, and another after that, and so on. We can think that that is an uncertain time, and karma that ripens at the time of death can cause a positive, beneficial rebirth, or a negative karma can ripen and a more painful experience can arise. Understanding that, we naturally guard the mind, the body, speech, turning away from negativity, embracing wholesome, beneficial actions. And by developing confidence in the power of the Buddha and his teachings, and in the community of practitioners that have realized his teachings, seeing that as the source of protection and refuge. Just take a moment and see if you can develop some taste of that reorientation, emphasizing where we're headed in the long term. And then we, as practitioners, would progress to the middle scope, recognizing that the wisdom of the small scope would create positive, beneficial rebirths, and yet those rebirths are still short of the bliss of liberation. There's still many shortcomings, disadvantages. Those beneficial, relatively beneficial rebirths provide us the means to continue to practice, free from the most intense difficulties. Yet attachment to those experiences must also be overcome. The mind that we have in those relatively beneficial lifetimes still produces negative karma due to the existence of fundamental ignorance. So again, try to develop some taste of orienting ourselves even further, thinking of those rebirths as not a good in themselves, but as a means to an end. Thinking the real purpose of those beneficial rebirths is uninterrupted spiritual growth and development. And then our aspiration can deepen further as we progress to the great scope, where we recognize that individual liberation is insufficient. Yet every sentient being has been limitlessly kind to me in this and all previous lives, and that I must repay that kindness by ensuring that they too escape a cycle of suffering and ordinary cyclic rebirth. So, on the basis of developing equanimity, seeing all sentient beings as the same, and wanting to be free of that suffering and deserving to be free of that suffering, we cultivate the mind that takes responsibility for bringing that about, the mind of bodhicitta. And with that, we unlock the door to full enlightenment, not just individual liberation. The ability to use that state to work for the benefit of all sentient beings. So try now to get a sense of this most sublime motivation. Thinking that the small scope and the middle scope are steps along the path to this ultimate goal. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. We'll dedicate. So recollect your altruistic motivation and think that by having contemplated in this way, actualized that motivation, created positive energy in the mind, and have a sense of offering that energy for the benefit of all sentient beings without exception. May it ripen in whatever way is truly beneficial for sentient beings. May it serve as a cause and condition to put an end to war and conflict. May it ripen the minds of sentient beings, pacify disease, poverty, all harmful inner and outer conditions that sentient beings face. May it cause sentient beings to quickly perfect their minds and arise in the state of full enlightenment. May I too achieve that state in order to actualize my own motivation to be of perfect benefit to sentient beings. May it pacify any obstacles facing the Guru's long life. And may it cause myself and all sentient beings in this moment to come under the joyful guidance of enlightened beings. May we be protected and guided until that state of enlightenment arises. Thank you.